Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, very good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So,
Yeah,
myself, Manish Kumar. I am from 13th batch IIP 97-99 batch pass out, and I'm presently working with Alkem Laboratory Mumbai as a head of packaging sourcing. And previously, I worked with Dr. Reddy's and Torrent Pharmaceutical. So this is brief about myself, and it is already 7 o'clock. So I'm starting the packaging in pharmaceutical. I will touch the primary packaging material component basically. As you know, I will just brief you that packaging components in pharmaceutical, if you categorize it, it will come around 60 to 70 different categories of the packaging material, what we normally use in pharmaceutical. So I tried to make it as a category of the primary packaging so that you will get some basics, a basic idea about that packaging material that will help you for interview and those who are interested in joining pharmaceutical industry. Okay. So it's a basic what you might have studied, that why you need packaging. For pharmaceutical, we need packaging for presentation, protection, and preservation, and easy to dispense, because there are pharmaceutical products that is used by the old age people, and those are having arthritis, so they can also use it easily. So ease in dispensing. And we make the product child resistance also, that so that the children can't open that bottles and take medicines. And we develop packaging with tamper evident, and we need packaging to provide information about the product, what is the regulatory guidelines, what is the MRP, what is the expiry date, and where it is manufactured. And it depends on the country to country specific regulatory requirement. So these are the five or six criteria basically we consider at the time of developing any packaging for pharmaceutical. So in pharmaceutical, we use basically primary packaging in strip pack, blister pack, bottle pack, laminated pouch, vials, ampules, tubes, aerosol container, and pre-filled syringes. These are the basic primary packaging what we use in pharmaceutical. So I will take you to each primary packaging for that. And in between, I request everybody to note down some critical point and go and search those things in Google, or if you are getting in books, and read details about those topics that will help you in future for if you are interested in pharmaceutical packaging. So the basic pack is the strip pack you might have seen in the market. So it's a strip packaging. In both sides is alu, aluminum and poly, and there is a strip pack available in paper poly also. So everybody might have seen it. So this is called the strip packaging, and it is common structure is aluminum poly, and aluminum paper poly is a common structure we use it. And there are this is the glassine poly you Saridon, which is written. It is a glassine poly, and paper poly we use it. It comes in the different thickness and different thickness of aluminum, as well as the different thickness of poly also. So you can develop as per your requirement, and there are standard thickness also available in the market. So you can directly go and take it. And there is another package called blister pack. So blisters pack you can make it by the thermoforming process as well as from the cold forming process. So everybody might have gone through the thermoforming process in your I think second semester or third semester. So these blisters are also made in the thermoforming machine through PVC, PVDC coated PVC, and Eclar based PVC. Different structures are available. And in cold forming, it is basically used, we call in the market as a cold form foil, or it is called as a alu blister foil. So in this, no heat is applied for the forming of the cavity. That's why it is called the cold forming foil. And the thermoforming is made by the applying heat and pressure both. That's why it is called a thermoform pack. So common structure for the thermoforming material is PVC. PVC coated with PVDC. It comes in the different GSM, 40 GSM, 60 GSM, 90 GSM, or 120 GSM. Or you can make it as per your barrier property which is required. And you can use it PVC coated with Aclar also if you need a very good barrier property Aclar, but it is very costly material. So people use it for the export packing, and it will give a very good transparency. The barrier property is equivalent to the property you are getting in the cold form foil, but the cost of the Aclar is very high. So companies select as per their product requirement as well as per their marketing requirement. And there are other structures also available. PVC laminated, it is a tri-layer is PE, then it is PVDC. That people use it for the higher barrier property as well as to give the stiffness to the blisters. And also PVC coated with PE with Aclar also it is used to give the same barrier property as well as to give the good stiffness in the blisters. Because you might have seen some blisters are in the bended form, some blisters are called the banana shaped blister. So to provide the stiffness, people use it. And also for giving the better barrier property, people are using it. So cold forming material, this is called the blisters. What you can see in the thermoforming foil is PVC, PVDC, Aclar. It comes in, you can get in the different color also as per your product requirement. It can be transparent, it can be amber color, green color, metallized, every type of PVC, or you can do the different printing also on the PVDC. PVC for your brand value, for the promotion of brand value, or to provide the anti-counterfeiting features in the PVC. So second one is the cold forming. So cold forming materials are normally, it is a OPA, polyamide, we call market, it is called as nylon, laminated with aluminum foil and PVC. And also it is available with nylon, aluminum foil coated with polyolefin and desiccant. So it gives the very good property for moisture absorption also, but the cost is very high for that. And people are using 4-layer cold forming also. Instead of 3 layers, it is a 4-layer if you need the high barrier property for the product. It depends on your product requirement and marketing requirement. You can select any of the packaging material, any of the blisters here. And this was the forming structure. On the back side, it is a printed information. So that you can use it as a glassine paper, as a HT foil also. It comes in different thickness and different heat seal lacquer. Or you can use paper aluminum foil with heat seal lacquer. There are latest trends are, it is a peelable foil also. And if you see in the back side, it is a printed one. It is a peelable one also, peel push also. So different child resistance feature also you can put it in the back side of the in the leading foil, and that will help you to promote your product as well as if you go to the US market. So those markets need the child resistance pack. For that it is compulsory to use any of the child resistance leading material for that. And if you are using the desiccant foil here, so you have to use not with heat seal lacquer, you have to use with poly coated aluminum foil. So leading material for the desiccant cold form blister is different than the leading material of the normal cold form foil. So you can go and you can check what are the different types of blisters and strip foil, how it is manufactured, what is the difference between that blister foil and strip foil manufacturing. If you go and search in Google, you will get the idea what how the blister foil is having different property than the strip foil. So I will request all the students to go, just note it down and check what is the difference between why a blister foil is different than the strip foil or soft tempered foil. Strip foil is also called as soft tempered foil. So you just check the manufacturing process of soft tempered foil and the blister foil. That will help you. So these blister foils can be printed in multicolors also. And the normal printing we do is a gravure printing. And normally in India, we use chemical etching cylinder for pharmaceutical product because we need only product information. If you have vignette and different CMYK color, then people use the electronic etching cylinder. Otherwise, normally people use chemical etching cylinder. And if your product is having a higher run, or if it's a big brand and it is continuously producing, then people go with the flexography also. So these are the critical point when you are developing strip and blister pack. So whenever you are developing, you should check the machinability. You should check the sealability, if the pack is properly sealed or not. The pocket formation. Pocket formation means you can see the forming or thermoforming and cold forming. Is it formed properly or not? And printing text, the backside, what is the printing and text matter? Is it coming as per your artwork? The coding zone, you should provide the coding zone so that batch coding can be printed, manufacturing and expiry date can be printed. So those are the compulsory things. And you have to check the pinholes. There should not be any pinholes in your blisters. And if you are having a specific text to be printed on that blister, so repeat length and photocell mark should be there, and it should be in the perfect shape. And the core diameter, the core where the aluminum foils are coming, so core diameter is as per your machine requirement. And if you are developing any blisters pack for the child resistance, it should pass from the CR pack also, child resistance test also. So this is the normally strip. It is packed in the carton, and cartons are packed in the zippers. Zippers are normally palletized, or it can without palletized also. If it is a domestic shipment, then only zippers can be transported, or it is palletized, and normally palletized zippers are used. Palletized packs are used for the export purpose. So this is the way strips and blister packs moves. So another one is the bottle pack for pharmaceutical. The major bottle packs are glass bottle, PET bottle, HDP bottles, and multi-layer bottles. These are the 4 types of bottles we are using in pharmaceutical normally in India. These are the glass bottles. Tablets, in early days, tablets used to come in the glass bottles. Now liquid syrups, there are many liquid syrups still coming in the glass bottles. It is available in different color, amber, green, or transparent color. But the drawback is the breakage during the transit and the higher weight during the, because of that, it increases the logistic cost. These are the PET bottles. Now it is that normally most of the liquid syrups are available in the PET bottles. It is commonly used for liquid, and it replaces glass. It is a lightweight, and it reduces the logistic cost here. And the price of the bottle is also less than normally glass bottles. And these are the HTP bottles also used for pharmaceutical product, not in India, but if your company is engaged in US market or a regulated market, people are using HTP bottles for packing tablets and capsules here. And there are different guidelines for regulated market. If you go join a pharmaceutical company, then you will come to know about the US FDA requirement or Canada FDA requirement. So every country is having the different requirements. So in India also, we export to US market. So there are many companies in India who is already US FDA approved company. So they are using this HTP bottle also for exporting product to US and other regulated countries. And these are the multi-layer bottles also used for pharmaceutical, but not much. It gives a very good barrier property, but only problem is making it in a huge quantity is a problem, because it is normally made in co-extruded bottles, not in IBM or IBM bottle. So the volumes are can't be produced in higher quantity, and the cost is high. But still, people are using it for many products. So it is normally 5-layer bottles or 6-layer bottles. People use it. And there are other bottles also. It's an Optha product. So Optha product itself is a big range. So it is very critical product because it is used for eyedroppers. So in this, when you are developing any eyedroppers bottles, you have to take care for that how each drops, what should be the weight of the liquid medicines is going inside. So those drop counts also very important. So each drops and nozzles are very critical in this bottle. So whenever you develop any ophthalmic bottles, it should have a clean room facility, as well as for the designing of the nozzle and bottles, the drop counts, how much milligram liquids are coming in one drop. Those are the very critical factors that you have to take care at the time of developing ophthalmic bottles. And there are other bottles also for cream and lotions and balm. People are using in PP or polystyrene. There are many types of, you can use a different one for the cream, lotions and balms. And there are bottles, PET bottles with pump also available. And there are bottles integrated with the measuring cup. So normally for mouthwash, people are using it. You can see here, there is a pipe here. So liquids are coming here, and as per measured quantity, it will stuck. It will be here. It will not go inside. Then you can utilize it in the balanced quantity. If you have taken the extra one, it will remain here. It will not go inside the bottle, and it will not contaminate the inside product once it is exposed to outside. For that, it is used as a bottles integrated with the measuring cup. For bottles, we are using a different types of caps. Various designs of caps are getting used. It is a aluminum cap, also continuous threaded cap, as well as ROPP cap is available in aluminum. And for plastic caps, you can use a normal continuous threaded, as well as temper evident caps also you can use it. Yeah, for plastic cap, with heat seal WAD is also available. So you can use it for the HDP bottles or PET bottle with WAD. This is called WAD. This is the WAD inside the cap. So it can be a sealed bottle, or you can use child resistance cap with heat seal WAD is also available. So for developing any child resistance pack, these caps, or if you are certifying any caps with child resistance, it should be certified by some agencies. There are agencies in US also. So you have to send the bottle and cap combination to them, and they conduct the trial with your cap and bottles combination, and they provide the certificate that this bottle pack is child resistant. Otherwise, you can't claim your bottle as a cap as a child resistant. And different structure of WAD also can be used. So there are other plastic cap or snap fit cap with desiccant. Desiccant, I will explain you in the next slide that what is desiccant. Basically, it is used for absorbing moisture, absorbing oxygen, absorbing odor from the tablet. Desiccants are used. So desiccants are fit here in the cap, and it's a snap fit or continuous threaded caps. And there are caps, child resistance cap with desiccant. You can see a desiccant canister is fixed in the bottle, in the cap, and it's a child resistant. That combination is also available in the market. So you can use this type of cap also in the market. These are called desiccant. Desiccants are normally in the market. People use silica gel. It absorbs moisture, and molecular sieve. It also absorbs moisture. People use carbon also as a odor remover. So whenever, if you are going, you just search in Google that what is silica gel, what is molecular sieve, what is carbon, which is used as a desiccant. And the critical thing you should know about what is the absorption capacity of silica gel, what is the absorption capacity of molecular sieve, and what is the residual moisture content, and what is the rate of absorption. These are the very critical factor for selecting any desiccant, and what is the weight of the desiccant you are using it. Either it is 5 gram or 1 gram or 2 gram or 3 gram or 0.2 gram. So those things are decided as per your product stability and performance. So desiccants are available in the form of canister as well as in the form of sachet also. The canister are prepared from HDP as well as polypropylene, and pouches or sachet we say is made from Tyvek or some special material they call it GD2 or GD2, those materials. And these are having small pores. These are the porous material, and it absorbs moisture and odor from from the bottles. So you can also develop your own specialized desiccant also as per your product requirement. Suppose your product is very sensitive to moisture also, or those products tablets are very brittle also. So you can contact the desiccant manufacturer. They can do the study and they can provide you some specific desiccant, and they can suggest that it will not absorb at more than this particular percentage of moisture, so that your tablet will not be or capsule will not be brittle, but it will also not deteriorate. Bottles pack, another type of desiccant is people use the oxygen absorbent. There are many products which is very sensitive to oxygen. To absorb the oxygen absorbers are also available. We put oxygen absorber also in the bottles if your product is very sensitive to the oxygen. It comes in the metal powder form also, and inside the sachet, or it comes in from the polymer also. So you can see here it's a first, before putting it, if you see these powders, it comes as a gray powder. But once you put in the bottles, after 6 months, once it absorbs, then you can see this color will change to rusted chunk of metal. You can find that. So those oxygen absorber also is used for pharmaceutical, as well as this is used for food packaging also. Mostly for the cake, to keep the cake, and you might have seen many cake is having a small sachet of oxygen absorber. So they keep the freshness of the cake also for 2 to 3 months. Also inside the bottles, we put cotton or polyester coil. It is used basically to avoid rattling inside the bottle for the open space. So you can use cotton fiber, polyester, or rayon also. It comes under in different grammage also, 9 gram, 10 gram, 16 gram per meter. So as per your bottle requirement, you can use it. There are many other dispensers. Packaging material is also used, like dropper. Normally droppers are made from the natural rubber also, synthetic rubber also, and with different shape and size it is coming. Measuring cup is coming, and there are new way of dispensing. Now people are using oral syringes also. So you have to put syringe with adapter at the top of the bottle. India, it is not having the trend, but if you go to the regulated market, people are using oral syringes also for giving doses to their kids. So you can use that also. And these materials are made from mostly PP or HDP. It is made. So whenever you are developing any new bottle, you have to take care for what material you are using it. What is the OFC? It is not only the volumes what you need to pack. What is if you are developing bottle for 100 ml, what should be the OFC? Overflow capacity of the bottles. That is also very important, because at the time of filling, if you put the product liquid inside, the foam will develop. So it is not only 100 ml bottle, OFC is always 100 ml. It can be 115 ml or 120 ml. As per your product requirement, you should develop the OFC of the bottle. and what is the neck finish, because that is very important part for the sealing of that bottle. And what is the dimension? It should have the uniform dimension. Otherwise, if you put the label, you will face the curling in the bottles. And the sealing should be proper. The absorption capacity of the desiccant, what I earlier told in for the desiccant part, that what is the absorption capacity and what is the rate of the absorption capacity and the residual moisture content of the desiccant. Those are the three parameters is very important for the selecting any desiccant. And if you are selecting any caps, the CR test report for the cap is also very important. The other major packaging material what we use is laminate. So you might have seen, everybody might have seen electrol and strepsils or other ORS and plain laminated pouch or transparent pouches we are using for pharmaceutical. These are the common laminates we use. This electrol is a paper foil poly structure. This strepsils is a PET foil poly structure. And this ORS is a PET poly structure. This transparent pouch is also used for the bulk tablet or bulk capsule packing, or the powder packing for SFG stage, or there are companies who is making the bulk tablets here and packing outside the country or different locations. Then they use PET foil poly structure. Or you can use BOPP poly also, or you can use BOPP also as per your requirement. As per your stability data, you have to select which laminate is better, and as per your marketing and costing also, those are the factors very important while selecting any laminates. So critical parameter for the laminate is the seal strength. The seal strength is the most important thing for any of the pharmaceutical product, and the bond strength. The paper and foil, what is the bond strength, and foil and poly, what is the bonding strength? Those plays a very important role to give a ultimate strength to the laminate. Also the PET foil, what is the bond strength, and foil to poly, what is the bond strength? Those are very important parameters. And also very important thing is the seal through contamination. This thing you have to take care while you are selecting any product for powder packing, because when you are filling the product in the pouch, so there are dust and powders will come at the sealing area. Here the sealing area also dust will come. So at the time of sealing, it should seal through contamination also. That poly you have to select that it should seal through contamination. Otherwise, if you have not selected the proper poly structure here, so it will leak after some time, because those dust will be coming in between the sealing area. So seal through contamination property for the poly is very important when you are selecting any pouches for pharmaceutical, for food product, or anywhere you are developing any laminates for powder packaging, because normally tablets will not come at the sealing area, but powder is having tendency to stick in the on the poly because of static charges in the poly, and it will stuck and it will fail your sealing property here in laminates. And another important is the pinholes. So all laminates should be pinhole free. So you have to check whenever you are using any, basically pinholes comes in aluminum foil structure. So you have to check the pouches, and you have to store the pouches. If it is coming in the roll form, you should handle it properly so that it should be pinhole free. There should not be creasing in the pouches. Otherwise, it will create pinholes and your product will fail. And there are pouches with vacuum seal. The vacuum is also available. So people are using vacuum pouches also for many of the product they extract all the airs from the pouches so that the product stability will increase. It will give the higher shelf life of your product. Another critical primary packaging material is vial. Vials in pharmaceutical, we use glass vials and plastic vials. So glass vials comes in two different types of, basically it's the manufacturing process is different. One is the tubular glass vial, another one is the molded glass. So it depends on your product criticality and your costing and marketing position. We select the glass vials as per either molded or tubular glass vials. And now people are using plastic vials also, but in India, very few people are using it. Mostly we use tubular glass and molded glass. And the glass type is type 1 normally used. And if your product is compatible and with and giving the required shelf life in type 3, people use type 3 vials also. On the glass, we have to put the rubber stoppers. So rubber stoppers are available in synthetic as well as in natural rubbers, natural polymers. So we normally use the synthetic rubber stoppers. It comes in different types of rubber stoppers. If you go, it's a bromobutyl, chromobutyl, nitrile rubbers. So different grades of rubber stoppers are available as per your product compatibility and stability. We select the rubber stoppers. So this is a special rubber stopper. This is the regular rubber stopper. If your product is lyophilized, then you have to use the lyophilized rubber stopper here. And rubber stoppers also can be supplied by the manufacturer as a ready to use, and another type is ready to sterilize. So before using these rubber stoppers, we used to sterilize the rubber stopper. So if vendor is having the manufacturer, basically vendor means the rubber stopper manufacturer is having the facility of ready to use, can supply ready to use rubber stopper. That means he can supply the sterile rubber stoppers that we can directly use it. We purchase from them, or as per our product requirement, we take it and we do the sterilization. There are different process of sterilization before using the rubber stopper. And it is a very critical component for any injectables. So other than glass, rubber stopper is the most critical component for any of the injectable company. And I will tell you that in India, very few people are having, and very few companies in the world are having expertise in rubber stoppers. So if you want to know more about rubber stopper, you can go and check from the website from the best world-based rubber stopper companies like West Pharma, Datwyler. You will get a lot of idea about rubber stoppers and what are the different types of rubber stoppers are used and how critical it is. So whenever you develop any injectables, this play a very important role for packaging. And there are different type of coating also we do in rubber stoppers. If your product is very sensitive, then we can use the Teflon coated rubber stoppers also. So different shapes and designs rubber stoppers are available in the market. And I will suggest everybody to go and check the rubber stoppers, types of rubber stoppers, how it is manufactured, and what are the critical factors of the rubber stoppers. Those things you should go and read that. It is a very interesting area. After putting rubber stoppers, we put the seals. This type of seals, in early days, we were using it. Now flip-up seals are also available. So these seals manufacturer are different. Sometimes rubber stopper manufacturer are also manufacturing seals. And there are other companies also, they make seals to us. So glass vials are coming from one vendor. Rubber stopper is coming from the another manufacturer. And seals, sometimes it comes from the rubber suppliers, rubber stopper suppliers, or you have to select another industry for your seal supplies. So critical factor for the vials development is, if you're developing, is the dimension, the brimful capacity or OFC, what we have said. It is as per pharma compliance or USP compliance, it is there or not. And vials should be free from knot, chipping, excess grass and cracks, because you have to check all those parameters, and machines should have the check parameter, because it comes from one place to another. In transit also, there are chances to get the cracks and damages in the vials. So those checking and inspection systems should be there. And whenever you are selecting or changing any rubber stoppers, you should do the extractable data, and you should have the leachable data also. And the rubber stopper dimension is also very critical. And if you are supplying to a specific country, as it should have the US pharmacopoeia or European pharmacopoeia compliance also if you are supplying to those countries. Those things are very important. Another form of injection comes in ampoules. So ampoules is less costlier than vials. It comes in the low cost, and you can use different types of colors also for the ampoules, and you can pack it directly here. It comes in the open form, and then it is sealed by the applying heat or flames, and it will form this shape, and it comes with different colors and with ring, and you can put label here. In India also it is still we are using it, but other European countries have reduced their usage and they are using vials instead of ampoules. So it is the same vials. These are the critical parameter: rainfall capacity, dimension, and it should be free from glass cracks. Another form of primary packaging is tubes. So normally in pharma industry, we use all three types of tubes: laminated tubes, co-extruded tubes, and aluminum tubes. Normally, maximum uses are in lami tubes. In earlier days, we were using aluminum tubes also, but most of the products are shifted in lami tubes, but still there are products which is very compatible in aluminum. So we are using aluminum tube. Not those products are not compatible in lami tubes. So we are still using alu tubes, and coax tubes are normally used for creams and lotions, so which is less sensitive to the oxygen and the moisture. Those things we use as in co-extruded tubes. So you might have studied in. Can you keep in mute? Yeah, thank you. So you might have studied the laminated tube manufacturing also, and coax tube is a different forms, and you can use the different type of caps and dispensing system for aluminum as well as lami tube and coax tubes. There are another type of pack is aerosol pack. You might have seen the move spray, and many type of sprays are available. So those are called aerosol pack. In pharmaceutical also we use aerosol pack, and there are meter dose devices also available in aerosol pack. So if the patient is using any, is an asthma patient, and if he is taking a spray, so he should count it that how many doses are remaining here and when he has to replace it. So those type of meter dose pumps are also available. So aerosol container also, how many times he is pumping it, and those meter it will show us that out of 100 dose 90 is completed or 80 is completed, and when he has to replenish it and you have to purchase another set of medicines, those indicators are also available and developed. And the recent one is, earlier days we were using the injections in vials for giving the injections. Patient is purchasing the disposable syringe, they are purchasing the cottons also there, and whenever doctor has to do inject those vials to the patient, he will first open the flip up seal, then he will do the injection, put the needle here in the disposable syringe, and he will take out the medicine and he will apply it. Instead of that, new trend is the pre-filled syringe. Directly pharma company is filling the product inside the syringe, and doctor is also saving the time, and you can directly inject to the patient. And another type of new development, a new trend in the world is the auto injector or injector pen. So you can put the medicine cartridge here, and patient, if they are every day they are taking medicines, like if he's a diabetic patient, every day he has to take the injection, so he can use the auto injector. He will put the medicine inside the auto injector pen, and he can inject himself also for those medicines. So all three types of syringes are available in the market, But in India, we still use the vials and disposable syringe. The pre-filled syringe is also slowly coming in the market, but at the slow pace. In the pre-filled syringes can be made, this barrel are made from the plastic as well as from the glass. Mostly it is made from the glass. And this is called plunger, and this is called top side is the needle, and it is a preventive. It will avoid any once it is used in the pre-filled syringe, that preventive will come at the front one, and it will stop getting injured to the any of the patients. So those types of syringes are also available. So you can go and see all those pre-filled syringe if you need more information about that. So BD is a world largest pre-filled syringe manufacturer. You can go and see how those what are the different types of pre-filled syringe available in the market, and it will give you a very good idea. And also auto injector, if you go and search in Google, you will come to know about the auto injector or injector pens. Those pens are also available, but it is not in the generic market. You have most of the time you have to come to company specific, product specific, they are making it. So other than primary packaging, those were the primary packaging. The secondary packaging for pharmaceutical, we use cartons. Cartons are made from the different types of board as per your brand requirement. It can be greyback, whiteback, or Cyber Excel or Sapphire Graphic with different GSM of the board. And it depends on your marketing requirement, how you are positioning the product. Another one is the labels. That is a very important part. And you can use string sleeve also instead of labels. And the leaflet is a very important component for the pharmaceutical. We see paper pieces inside the carton, but those are the very important component for any of the pharmaceutical company, specifically if you are going to the regulated country. A regulated country means if you're going to US market or Europe market, if you are developing any medicines. Now, most of the company, what I told you earlier, that in India are making product from US and Europe market. So they use leaflet. So leaflet also comes in two different design. One is called insert. Insert means these leaflets are folded and put inside the carton. And this is called outsert. This is used for the bottle packing. You can see here it is pasted. So that is called outsert. If you open this outsert, it will be a size of newspaper. It will be a 500 mm or 600 mm to 400 mm. That big those leaflets are. These are folded, and there are different folds are also available. And for folding these leaflets, specific machines are required. You can't fold it in the regular machinery. So leaflet folding is also critical part for pharmaceutical, and 4 or 5 years back, these foldings were also patented. Now I think folding that patent has over. And there are another type of packs available are blister card. It is very good for display as well as child resistance. You can use these blisters in the card having the cold seal, and you put the blisters and you can seal it from that side. It will be a carton with the tablets, capsules, you can use it. There are child resistance cartons are also available. You can check in net, you will get a very good idea about child resistance packaging for cartons also available. So in carton also a special design you can make it for, nobody can take out the blisters from inside to outside the carton. There is a specific point or a specific area where you have to push, and then only you can dispense those blisters. Another one is after packing it, we have to dispatch the material. If you are exporting it, you have to use wooden pallet or slip seats. So it's a wooden pallet. It comes in the different sizes as you can develop, or if you are supplying to some country, it's a Euro pallet also we call, and US pallet also it called. So in anything you are dispatching to US, normally they want the US pallet. If you're supplying to Europe, they ask for the Euro pallet, or you can design if your warehouse in those country is comfortable. You can design your own size pallet also. And then these zippers, cartons you are packing or bottles you are packing in the zippers, or zippers are packed on the bottle, then it is stretch wrap, and you can put the angle board or edge board there, and you can put a strap here, and then it dispatches. And instead of wooden pallet, new trend is slip seat. People are using it. For that, you need the different type of forklift with push and pull attachment. It can save the wood also. It is very good for the sustainability part. But the drawback is wherever you are dispatching it, loading it, and unloading both sides, you need the special attachment for with your forklift. That's it from my side for pharmaceutical packaging. So if you have any question, you can ask.
Good evening, sir.
Go on, Prachi.
Thank you so much for such a good session. This is Prachi Gira from Delhi, batch 34th. The questions are as follows. There are a few questions which you can answer. The rest we can send you as an email so you can answer them because there are a lot of them.
Yes.
The first question was, what happens to the pharma packaging after use? How does the primary packaging of pharmaceutical is recycled? And can PCR also be used to develop primary packaging?
See, at present in India, there is no as such regulations for handling the waste of the pharmaceutical packaging, but Pollution Control Board has started working it, and also the pharmaceutical companies is also working it on it, that whatever we give the data to the Pollution Control Board of India, that how much plastic component we have used it, and we are giving assurance also to them. Few company has started, not all the company. So companies are giving the data that in this year we have used 10,000 kg of plastics. So we have to pick and recycle equivalent amount of plastics from the area where we have dispatched it, either in northern zone, southern zone, eastern zone, and western zone. So 2,500 kg of plastics equivalent scrap. Pharma company is giving the assurance that we have picked it and we have recycled it. It is not possible to collect the same waste from the patient. So those are the initiatives pharmaceutical company has started taking it. It is not a government rule, but many pharmaceutical company has given this details to the Pollution Control Board of India, and they use it.
All right. So the next question was, on what basis do we decide whether we have to go for a strip pack or a blister pack? And if we go for a strip or blister pack, how do we decide the number of tablets or capsules which are to be added to it?
It depends on the strip and blister pack first. It depends on your product stability. If your product is very sensitive to the moisture, or very sensitive to the moisture and oxygens, so normally people use the strip packaging, but it depends. Even those properties are available in the blister pack. It depends on your marketing team and how they want to put their product in the market. So accordingly, they decided they want to go in the blister pack or they want to go in the strip packaging. But normally strip packaging gives the better barrier property than blister packaging. But it is having all plus and minus also. Strip packs are bigger than the blister pack, and blister pack are better presentable than the strip packaging, and blister pack is having the lesser size, so the costing is less in blister pack. And it depends on if your both products, same product is stable in strip and blister pack. It depends on the marketing, how they want to put in the market, and it depends on the marketing which type of, how many capsules and how many pack size you want to put it in the market. It all depends on the marketing. If the product is stable in blister as well as strip. If it is not stable in blister pack, then they have to go in the strip packaging, but the sizes and shapes and number of the counts, those things are decided by the marketing team.
Okay. So one question was, since PVC is carcinogenic and industries are looking towards reducing their PVC footprint, and pharma sector is one of the largest consumer of PVC, are there any alternative material in picture that can be used except PVC?
Pharmaceutical grade PVC is not carcinogenic. It is carcinogenic is plasticized PVC. These all are not a carcinogenic PVC in the but in pharmaceutical people are using it. But there are alternatives like polyesters, PET. They are using PETG. PET. People are using it, but still people are using PVC mostly in the market, because of cost effectiveness, because other components are not so cost effective. At the end of the day, a customer has to pay for that.
All right, sir. Thank you so
And
much.
there, yeah.
Yeah, please go on. Please go on.
No. Okay.
The next question was, some drugs are capable of delaminating glass, and there have been unwanted glass chippings present in formulations. And so, what do you think is the most feasible packaging available alternative to this, so that can prevent glass chipping, basically?
The glass chipping is not happening because of product. If your glass is properly molded, it will not have any problem. If you are using USP type 1 glass also, it will not have that problem. I have not seen any problem in glass. Is a packaging material. You can put acid there, you can pack honey. So it's one of the oldest packaging material available in the world, and one of the safest packaging material in the world. So glass breakage is another thing, and we have not seen anything in glass that glass particles are coming out because of product. So these are the medicines we are packing. So medicines are going inside the body. If it is damaging glass, it will definitely damage the product. So this is this is not the reason, and glass is the safest one.
So the last technical question for today, it is like, what are the latest security features used for packaging to avoid counterfeit by major brands?
There are many things. For counterfeiting, you can put COVID feature, OVID feature also. There are many types of printing you can do in the cartons, in the blisters also. So those things you can do it. If you go in the printing area, there are multiple type of printings, and UV printing is also done. And now they can do the, it's a 3D coding, 4D coding, batch codings. That area I have not touched. So those things are there. You can use the 3D barcoding, 2D barcoding, track and trace systems are also there. So you can find out that where each cartons, each bottles are having the specific code. So you can scan it and you can get the detail that where it is printed and where it is manufactured. And people are using the UV printed foil. It is not visible in the naked eye, but if you put the UV light, you can see those features. And there are, if you go to the Brazil market, they put the coin reactive ink with a specific logo. You scratch it, you can see that company logo. So those are the features available, or you can use the holographic feature also. And in blisters also, or in the LULU foil, people are using UV printed LULU foil. So you can check in UV light, it will give a different glow. So there are features, and there are code number, coding system also. So you call it, you can identify what is a specific one, and micro printing, micro text. There are many features available. That area is a very big area, anti-counterfeiting. So people are working on it, and already they are very successful. But still, every day they keep on adding new features in cartons and blisters for that.
Sir, there was just one question that was repeated over and over again. So if you don't mind, I could ask that right now.
Yeah.
What is the selection criteria when we are talking about plastic bottles? Like, how do we basically work around whether we have to use PET, HDPE, or a multi-layer plastic bottle?
So if it is a product, first time you are launching in the market, you have to do the you have to do the stability study. Without stability study, and data, you can't launch any of the product in the market. So you have to check if you are doing the polyester bottles, you You do the stability in all 3 bottles, or you check with your marketing team, because it depends. End of the day, marketing team is selling these products in the market. So they can inform that I need a transparent bottle or amber color bottle or green color bottle. So if you are changing the color also of the bottle, you have to do the stability. If you are changing the thickness, you have to do the stability, and you have to provide the stability data to the agencies for to launch those products in the market. So it depends on the product stability. It depends on your marketing strategy and marketing requirement, and it depends on the other competitors. How marketing also decide how the other competitors are. In India also, they see what how other competitors are doing it. Can we do little different? They can change the bottle shape, but they keep in the bottles. If they are having the bottle, they will not come in the blister pack. But in US and Europe, more in, if you go to the regulated market, it is a generic market. So they normally follow what the other generic player are doing it. They just follow that type of bottle, and they do the stability study with the different thickness of the bottle. It depends on the WBTR property of the bottle also, and OTR property of the bottle. So those are the major criteria they select for the launching or positioning the product.
Thank
Hope
you
I
so
cleared
much.
this.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative session and answering all these deep questions. Apart from all this technical knowledge, how would you like to guide us? Because we'll be soon facing our interviews for our placements in July. So, how do you think we should go forward about that?
I will suggest everybody to go to the basic of, because those company who is coming for interview, because I have also faced, I was there 20 years, 21 years back. I was also just like you, I was facing also interviews. So they will ask the basic questions about any of the materials, what library reference works you have done, what industrial training you have gone through. So they will ask you the basics about the packaging. Basic materials, you should go and read about basic materials like polyester, HDP, LDP. Those are the basic materials. Go and read about all those things. Whatever basic things are available, you go and read it about the paper, how paper are manufactured, what are the basic property. Because I have seen the ITC people are also, Mr. Sridhar sir is also taking a session for paper. So you go and read about paper. If you go to the ITC site, you will come to know about the papers. And for pharmaceutical, you just go what is the strip packaging, blister packaging, and those type of glasses used. And the basic need, why we are selecting this, and what are the different types of packaging machineries are available. Strip what are the, it's a flatbed or rotary. So why people use flatbed, why people use rotary. If you go and read, those basic things. Now everything is available in internet. You can go and read small topic, make a note, prepare yourself, discuss with your team, entire class. If you're staying in hostel, or now you can do the Google meeting, you can discuss along with your friends, then you will do better.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a great guidance.